The corporate system relies on a mathematical lie that you must endure 40 years of institutional compliance to purchase your absolute freedom. In reality, an optimized 180-day systemic capital protocol can dismantle your dependency loop permanently. Today, we are decoding the precise timeline architecture to construct your freedom fund in exactly 6 months. Most white-collar professionals remain paralyzed by the assumption that an exit requires $500,000 in liquid cash. They choose structural safety over velocity, letting their primary wealth-building years dissolve inside stagnant wage architectures. But when you implement a hard, multi-stage fiscal extraction delta strategy, the corporate monolith loses all structural leverage over your life. Let's isolate the first primary operational milestone. Month 1 and 2, the capital extraction and optimization node. You cannot construct freedom on top of unmonitored capital leakage vectors. Leo initializes his baseline financial extraction sequence by executing a complete forensic audit of his household overhead patterns. He discovers that up to 30% of his net income stream is quietly evaporating into low-utility subscription metrics. These commercial traps are deliberately engineered to keep your liquid cash surplus completely flat month after month. By purging these automated corporate drains, you instantly reclaim immediate financial velocity for your perimeter shield. Valerie details the explicit mathematical compound rate achieved when leakage capital is redirected into sovereign containment modules. The empirical data proves that simple expense optimization yields a structural $3,000 liquidity injection within 60 days. This forms your opening operational launchpad runway baseline, completely isolated from employer control loops. Now let's analyze month 3 and 4, the asymmetric income multiplier protocol. You do not rely entirely on your corporate salary baseline to scale your freedom cushion timeline. You must convert your specialized daylight corporate workflow into an independent, external consulting vehicle asset. The modern marketplace aggressively rewards targeted bottleneck expertise while punishing generalized administrative labor lines. Leo identifies his core technical system configuration skills, formatting them into an external enterprise solution template. He terminates his psychological identity as an internal corporate employee node, adopting the framework of a sovereign contractor entity. Valerie maps the staggering compensation arbitrage valley, separating fixed salary earners from programmatic consulting retainers. The numbers demonstrate that a single external business agreement can secure your total monthly living baseline expenditure in 5 hours of labor. By decoupling your resource generation from a single centralized employer, you effectively render their termination threat completely powerless. You step out of the job application lottery loop and enter the domain of strategic enterprise B2B optimization architectures. This structural evolution transitions your focus to month 5 and 6, the escrow insulation and velocity launch node. Your primary consulting delta revenue must be strictly locked inside an isolated entity treasury shield. Do not allow these early financial gains to merge with your standard consumer transaction pipelines. Leo tracks his compounding consulting balance, observing the systematic construction of his absolute freedom fortress walls. He secures an immutable psychological shield, knowing he holds 6 months of absolute living overhead completely outside their grid. Let's isolate the first primary tactical execution phase, the 90-day overhead capital lock. Before launching any independent contract track, you must mathematically establish your baseline survival threshold metric. Calculate the exact, unbloated liquid dollar amount required to sustain your current living ecosystem. Multiply this baseline parameter by 3 to isolate your primary defensive corporate exit runway. This cash cushion is not for long-term investing. It is your literal friction shield against counterparty stress. Valerie maps out the structural failure rate of W-2 exits that occur without an absolute runway anchor. The empirical data proves that without 90 days of absolute liquidity, operators quickly surrender back into corporate compliance. Now let's analyze phase number 2, the monetizable specialized competence extraction protocol. You must identify the single internal technical workflow you execute that yields high client enterprise value. It cannot be a generic managerial capability loop. It must be a clear infrastructure optimization skill. Think of advanced database migrations, specific regulatory compliance mappings, or custom software integration pathways. Leo isolates his high-value architecture routines, formatting them into an independent operational delivery template. He stops presenting himself as a modular internal employee candidate, shifting to an external systems solution provider. This change elevates your market status instantly from an administrative expense category to a strategic equity partner. Let's analyze phase number 3, the asymmetric counterparty sourcing mechanism matrix. Instead of relying on a single corporate employer, you pitch your capability framework to 3 separate entities. You offer your specialized competence on a fixed monthly advisory retainer basis rather than full-time integration. Each entity secures access to your specialized output parameters at a fraction of full-time employment overhead. Simultaneously, you secure multiple distinct revenue injection vectors, completely neutralizing single-source layout risk patterns. Valerie cross-references the financial stability of multi-client independent models against traditional corporate salary tracks. The data demonstrates that diversified consulting retainers increase active capital velocity while protecting personal autonomy loops. If one corporate counterparty terminates an agreement, your core economic engine continues operating without systemic interruption. You simply adjust your allocation parameters and deploy your extra cognitive capacity to acquire a replacement client node. You have successfully decoupled your baseline survival from the corporate hierarchy matrix system entirely. Julian executes his initial alpha outreach campaign, securing 2 mid-market contract retainers within 48 hours. If you are ready to break out of this white-collar corporate cycle, you must seize manual control of your numbers immediately. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and hit that notification bell. Let's build. Leave a comment below with your target corporate exit timeline milestones, because math deletes institutional dependency. Let's isolate the profound structural advantage of micro-agency legal positioning. When you transition from an internal W-2 worker to an external entity, your fiscal status shifts. You operate behind a corporate liability shield, allowing you to intercept resource flows before tax calculations apply. Valerie breaks down the explicit corporate deductions map tracking enterprise software operational costs. The data proves that sovereign operators preserve 40% more net capital than standard salary equivalents. You utilize perfectly legal corporate loopholes to optimize your lifestyle overhead parameters completely. Your workstation, digital network assets, and commercial office space convert into clear asset write-offs. Leo applies this structural business architecture blueprint, insulating his primary Delta pipeline fully. He ceases to be a captured consumer node, becoming a detached, cold wealth accumulation machine. Let's examine the exact outreach execution protocols required to validate your sovereign framework. You do not submit standard resumes to general human resources intake portals. You bypass the gatekeepers entirely by reaching out directly to the principal operational executives. Identify the absolute core inefficiency costing their specific department money or deployment speed. Draft a concise, data-backed technical solution brief mapping exactly how you will delete that vulnerability. Valerie outlines this targeted value positioning mechanism across her risk analysis data models. The empirical charts confirm that problem-centric pitches hold a 90% higher contract engagement rating. You dictate the terms of engagement because you possess the explicit cure to their internal operational bleed. Leo deploys 3 highly targeted enterprise optimization proposals to regional engineering corporations. He secures a premium automated contract architecture that guarantees his initial liquid retainer execution fee. The conversion of labor status allows him to command premium market pricing parameters effortlessly. Now let's break down the critical discipline loop of automated baseline capital retention. When your consulting revenue begins scaling, you must strictly prevent consumer lifestyle expansion creep. Do not buy the premium vehicle lease or upgrade your residential luxury status designations. Keep your household expenses anchored firmly at your baseline W-2 survival threshold metrics. Redirect the entirety of your newly captured surplus margin straight into an isolated liquidity vault account. This continuous cash stacking forms the secondary, heavy defensive armor perimeter of your exit fortress. Valerie tracks the explosive compound rate of operators who strictly maintain expense discipline. The empirical proof validates that lifestyle containment cuts the time required to achieve total sovereignty by half. You are not hoarding cash out of scarcity fear. You are actively buying permanent personal freedom. Leo watches his isolated freedom allocation column break past his initial target milestones. He reaches the profound operational inflection point where his W-2 salary becomes completely obsolete. Let's study the precise mechanical execution of your formal corporate exit transition day. You do not orchestrate an emotional, dramatic confrontation with your legacy management hierarchy. You submit a cold, objective, highly professional 2-week contract termination notice document. Maintain complete behavioral detachment, protect your professional reputation parameters, and close out tasks. You exit the facility building quietly on your final afternoon, carrying 0 institutional dependencies. The structural control matrix they use to govern your cognitive energy fields is completely shattered. Valerie maps the macroeconomic landscape welcoming newly minted, high-utility sovereign enterprise networks. The market data confirms an insatiable cross-industry demand for agile, contract-based, specialized capability units. You are no longer an internal liability on an employer's overhead spreadsheet. You are a dynamic asset. You dictate your daily operating schedule, select your project trajectories, and capture your absolute margin. Leo wakes up on his initial morning of total career liberation, stepping into his workspace. He initializes his independent software advisory operations, executing tasks with deep focus boundaries. His life force is no longer being commercialized by a massive counterparty corporation for cheap baseline returns. He has successfully transitioned from a captured employee node into a dominant sovereign market controller. The entire corporate career architecture is a modern illusion engineered to extract your prime years. They offer synthetic compliance rewards to distract you from your structural lack of real-world equity. But the unyielding laws of the modern decentralized economy reward absolute technical scarcity parameter sets. Every single evening hour you allocate to build your independent blueprint framework is a sovereign investment. Every automated margin boundary you implement shatters an institutional control node completely. The final path choices remaining before your career path are exceptionally binary, absolute, and unyielding. You can choose to buy their institutional safety mythology, funding their structural wealth extraction machine layers, or you can choose to align your trajectory with the unyielding law of personal asset scaling frameworks. Master your specialized capability track, structure your 90-day protective insulation cushion, and launch. Your future financial independence is determined exclusively by the data-driven boundaries you implement tonight. The speculative marketing illusions lose all cognitive power when you align with the unshakable truth of numbers. Deny the corporate career path access to your finite lifetime energy reserves. If this deep investigative breakdown is changing your wealth trajectory, take a second right now to subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button and leave a detailed comment below mapping out your own long-term allocation strategy parameters. Your future financial independence is determined exclusively by the data-driven boundaries you implement right now. The choice before your career journey is completely absolute, unyielding, and binary in nature. You can choose to buy their corporate safety mythology, funding their structural wealth extraction machine lines. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and hit that notification bell. The mathematical reality doesn't care about emotional market noise. Every programmatic dollar you deploy right now alters your future wealth trajectory permanently. Close the screen and build.